Hey guys, so let me first begin by telling you why I named the four-wheel drive rover as the DE1TD. So I have named it as the DE1TD because DE is short for Deutschland, which is Germany in the German language. So this is because my rover is inspired by the SD KFZ 234-4, which was a lightly armored tank of the Second World War that was used in Germany. It had excellent mobility and also had a very small turn radius and was also capable of decent off-roading. I wanted my four-wheel drive rover to be just like that, with excellent turn radius and to have mobility. While it does have very good turn radius and it can turn on the spot, it does not have a very good top speed. And there's a suffix TD at the end, which stands for technology demonstrator, because I wanted this rover to be a proof of concept that I have a working chassis so that I can make an autonomous project to test my autonomous systems capabilities later. So now let's move on to the more detailed explanation of the working of the rover. It all starts from the controls that come from the transmitter that I hold in my hands. So this is the front and back input. I use this stick for the front and back input, and I use this stick for the right and left input. It would be more convenient if I could use this stick for right and left input, but this stick has faulty contact on the left side, so I'm not able to use this stick for the direction input. The control signals from the transmitter go to the receiver here. The receiver is mounted on top of the rover like that. Receiver is mounted here, and the signals from the receiver goes down to the Arduino. I am using the PPM signals, which is the combined signal of all the channels of the receiver, and it gives the value of all the channels in one single wire in PPM format, which is pulse point modulation. That goes into the Arduino, which is securely placed in the bottom part of the rover. I have covered the bottom part with this styrofoam so that it will be protected from any debris that it might crawl across while going on an off-road mission. So the Arduino here, it's under this L293D sheet. The Arduino here decodes the PPM signals and converts them into the necessary into the required binary inputs and tells which motor to spin in which direction. And since the L293D driver chip has the capacity to change the speed at which each motor rotates, it also gives PWM signals telling each motor at which speed it's supposed to rotate. This is a 4-channel motor driver, that is, it can drive 4 separate channels. I have put each motor on a different channel so that they can all get the maximum power. So each motor can draw like roughly 300 milliamps, and the maximum current of each channel is 500 milliamps. So if I put these two motors together in parallel into one channel, I felt that they might be a bit current starved, so I am putting each motor on a different channel. So as you can see here, I am using brushed DC motors. These are very cheap motors and are well suited for this application. They give good amount of torque and thus allow good climbing power. I have insulated the bottom pins of the Arduino from the aluminum chassis here using double side tape. I initially tried to mount the battery here using velcro strips, but the velcro strip did not stick very well to the battery and the battery kept falling off, so I had to mount the LiPo battery on the top of the rover. And that's how this whole rover works. Now let me tell you more about the story of the development of this rover. So initially when I started out this rover, I just went for 2 motors giving a 2-wheel drive configuration. Although this is bad for off-road applications, I thought it would be sufficient for a technology demonstrator for an eventual autonomous rover project. But later I felt that it was very poor in performance and these 2 motors were not very well matched. So I had to use slow motion footage of the wheels turning on each side to see which motor was spinning slower, which one was spinning faster, and I had to change the PWM inputs given to the motors accordingly so that they would both spin at the same speed. Later I added these 2 motors. These 2 motors I knew would have the same RPM because I bought them with knowledge of what RPM they will give at 12 volts. But at that time I retained the PWM differential that I had across these motors. So one of these was spinning at 100% speed and the other one was spinning at something like 70% speed to give the same RPM on both wheels. Later somehow this 70% turned out to be wrong, and I noticed it much later, but in the actual video that I had posted earlier, they were actually spinning at the wrong speed. So one of the wheels was spinning slower than the other three wheels, and this was probably causing a significant amount of wear and tear on this motor. Not sure if it was this one or this one. And once that incompatibility was fixed, I was able to achieve a higher top speed than shown in the video. In the video that I had shown earlier, this rover could achieve only 2.5 kilometers per hour top speed on level surface. But after I fixed the wheeling, the PWM differentials and ensured all the wheels were rotating freely, I found that I was able to achieve 3 to 3.5 kilometers per hour. And once during the operation of this rover in the original video, I noticed that the wires for one of these motors had fallen off, but the rover still kept going because of the redundancy offered by the four-wheel drive. By adding some amount of trim, I was able to keep the rover going straight. And I initially didn't want this project to use PWM because L293D chips are somewhat inefficient. There is a significant voltage drop from the supply. Supply is about 12 volts, but the motors receive only about 10 volts. So there is a significant voltage drop at the L293D. So I wanted to avoid using that. So instead, I tried to build a dual H bridge using relays. So I had these relay boards with the necessary driving transistor circuits lying around for quite a while. I tried to make a dual H bridge to control two motors individually with the directions by assembling them in a H bridge configuration. But due to my insufficient soldering skills and me not having access to PCBs needed to put these together, I was simply not able to get this relay setup to work. So I had to ditch it in the end and go for the L293D method. Subsequently, I also added FPV to the rover and I found it to be quite useful. I, however, do not have very good FPV footage, so I am not able to show it on camera. And that's it for today, guys. This wraps up the explanation, the working, and also the story behind development of the rover. Thanks for watching. Like, share and subscribe. And if you want to let me know any opinions or if you have any questions about my project, please do let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment and I'm more than happy to interact with you as a viewer.